Start. Okay, so today it's our second recipe in our book, and it is our, I'll just bring it a little bit closer, it's our omelette bites. And what I've done is, depending on your sort of dietary needs, I have chopped up a lot of different ingredients. Let me show you what I have, and then we'll make a few different types of quiche bites or omelette bites. Now I have a meat plate here. Who's coming in? Elena. And on my meat plate I have some chopped up bacon. You could do chopped up chicken. You could do, I've got chorizo sausage that I cooked yesterday, so I'm chopping that up and putting it in so it's pre-cooked. You could do some ham. You could do I had some salmon, smoked salmon. You could do a range of different meats, but they're the ones I'm going to use today, and I've just chopped them up really finely, so just going to keep them separate. Now I'll show you what I have when it comes to vegetarian. So vegetarian, I have chopped up some capsicum, some avocado, some cherry tomatoes, and different colors of those because they look nice. I've also chopped up some onions, and we're going to make the quiche mixture in a minute. I've also cut up some mushrooms, so just little bits of mushrooms. Probably one mushroom is enough there. I have made a mix of cheeses in here, so you could use mozzarella, parmesan, tasty. I've just made like a cup of all these grated cheeses. That'll taste really nice when they're put together. I've got some salt and pepper here that I'm going to add to my quiche mixture. And I have, you can grease a tray. You can use the big 12 cup tray, but I'm going to use my mini one because that's what I have. And I have put little patty cases inside them because I don't want to make a mess of my tray. This one gets messy because some of the food gets left behind in the cups, makes it difficult to clean. So I have put that aside. I've put my oven onto 180 degrees to start preheating. And I'm going to start with my omelette mixture. So what I did is I just take my biggest jug, and in the recipe it says to make the base ingredients we need 4 large eggs. Alright, so I've just got sort of 4 free range eggs. I'm going to break them into my jug. I've got a bigger jug, a biggish jug, because I know I've got to put a fair bit of ingredients into here. Okay, so I'm going to take, you could probably put more eggs or less eggs depending on how many you're going to make. I'm not really sure how many I can get made in my 24 cup, but we're going to see if we can fill that all up. Alright, so in your jug you have 4 eggs. I'm going to take my whisk and I'm going to whisk that up. Now into my eggs I'm going to put in a teaspoon of plain flour and a 1/4 cup of milk. Okay, so I'll just get my milk out, but I want to just mix all of my egg yolk and white of the egg together. And I'm going to put my 1/4 cup in. So not much milk at all really. And it's the flour, the plain flour, that's going to be making this mixture set better. Alright, so that's why we're putting in the plain, sort of like adding corn flour, making it to a little bit thicker. Now you can whisk it in, but you can also use a sieve, and if it's sort of a bit bally, so that's about a teaspoon there, you can squish them up with the back of your spoon. So I'm just going to mix that in. And I'm going to put my salt and pepper in as well. Just to season that base mixture up. So I've got 4 eggs, 1/4 cup of milk, salt and pepper, and about a teaspoon of plain flour. Now I've made these before. My suggestion would be, and I think I'm going against the recipe when I say this, is I suggest you put your fillings in first. Okay? Now why I do this is because I think it's there's less chance of the tray becoming overflowed with this egg mixture. So you can, I might do some with meat. If you wanted to, you could like fry up the bacon first. It's not necessary because it's going to cook in that egg. Remember, we're making that quiche sort of, it's soft when it comes out because it's just like egg. And it will harden as it gets cooler. Alright, so I'm going to do that side meat. I am going to add a little bit of diced onion in there. You can put some veggies in. I might do some with, oh, that's a big chunk there, with some mushrooms. It actually says to put the onion into the egg mixture. I'm not going to do that because I feel like the onion will sink to the bottom of the egg and you're sort of pouring it out of a jug and it's the last thing to get poured out. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of onion into each of those cups. Okay, now to give it some color, I might put some tomato. It doesn't actually matter if a little bit of the food is poking out the top. Alright, because I'm not going to overflow the cups, so I don't want them to spill, but it sort of looks nice when you've got different colors in each of the cups. Okay, so I'm going to just move that over there, put some red. I had a couple of Father's Day food boxes delivered yesterday, so I'm sort of just using up some of the tomatoes that were given. They were like coloured tomatoes. So that's going to be for my meat ones. I've got some meat, some tomato and some onion in there. If I had some baby spinach, I'd probably put that in there. In the recipe it talks about that, and especially for people that are vegetarians. So if you get back to school and you just want to make vegan, we have some egg substitute for you, but we also will have some greenery that you can put into yours. Now my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of cheese. Remember, I haven't filled them completely to the top. Alright, I've left some gaps in my patty cases so that I can pour the liquid in. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of cheese. It's the cheese that makes it quite thick as well. Okay, who's coming in now? Isaac. Alright, so that's my meat ones done. Now what I want to do is I want to take my jug, the one that I've mixed with my eggs and my milk and my seasoning and my plain flour, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of liquid into each cup. Just being a little bit careful that you're not trying to overflow your cups. Okay, now the cups will protect the rest of your muffin tin from getting super dirty and making it really difficult to clean. So that's why I've put the papers in there to begin with. Okay, so these are my meat ones. We can come back if we think that it's settled down and there's not much egg mixture in them. I've seen these done with some pastry. You could do filo pastry, you could do a piece of bread that you can flatten by rolling pin. I've seen people stuffing them into muffin tins. You can use puff pastry. If you had squares, you can push them in. They look quite nice. Now in the rest of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these ones vegetarian. A little bit of onion at the bottom. And I'm going to put a range of different ingredients. So I've got capsicum here. I've got some avocado. I've got some mushrooms. So these are my veggie ones. I'm just going to make a mixture of different things. I've got a little bit of tomato here. I'm going to pop those in. Green tomatoes. Whoops. Throwing them at my... Alright. So I might just do these ones more mushroom. I love mushroom. My kids hate mushroom. Whenever I make something with mushroom, has that got brown stuff in it? I'm not eating that, Mum. I'm like, it's good for you. And I promise you, when you're an adult, your taste buds will change and you will love mushrooms. I don't know who else hates mushrooms, but I probably did when I was little too. My other son hates tomatoes, so I can't put tomatoes in everything. Even though I love tomatoes. Alright, so now I've got a lot of filling in a lot of them, but I'm trying to make them colourful, and sometimes I just like a bit of colour sticking out of the top of them because I'm going to be baking them, and they sort of look nicer when they're baked. Alright, so I'm going to move that away. I'm going to move this away, and I'm going to keep pouring. So you can see there's quite a bit of egg mixture there still left. That one, okay, pouring it over the mushrooms. So I reckon we're going to be we're just going to make it with our egg. If you had an extra egg, it wouldn't hurt, I don't think. Or you could put a little bit more milk in to make it have more volume. Oh, we're nearly, oh, no. I'm going to get one more egg. And fill up the rest of them. So 5 eggs for me here today. I mean, I could have put more filling in. That probably would have been a bit better. Would have meant I wouldn't have to use so much eggs, but that's okay. You probably won't use these tins when you get back to school. You'll probably use the bigger tins. They'll take a little bit longer to cook. But you'll sort of test them when they come out, because you're going to just make sure they're not super runny. Salt and pepper. Did I put salt and pepper? I think I did. Forgot. Okay. Here we go. I'm just going to fill up the rest of my cups because I've got a couple that I think are a little bit underfilled. And I still want to put a little bit of cheese on top as well. We're nearly there. These vegetarian ones look really good. And they're full of colour. But we wanted to put some baby spinach in. I just didn't have any. Be nice if it had a bit more green, but that's okay. Alright, I'm going to put my last bit of cheese in. I'd probably clean my tin up before I put it in the oven, so all of my cheese doesn't burn to my tray. Makes it a bit easier to clean later on. I'd get like a little spoon and just pick them up when they're hot, and I'll put them on a plate and take a photo of them. I'm going to just fill up some of these with a bit more cheese. Now when they are cooked, they're going to look like golden brown. They're going to melt cheese. That's what it's going to look like, and then you're going to get this sort of surface that is quite golden. on the top, then you're going to know they're ready. If the liquid's still moving around, it means it hasn't set yet. So I would say keep it in there. For me, this sort of size tray would take about 15 minutes in my oven. Okay, so I would suggest you check it after 10. If you're using the bigger tins, I'm thinking about 20 minutes because you're having a lot more liquid in those bigger ones. But when you take these ones out of the oven, you should be able to peel up the paper and then serve them up that way. So they should be nice and hard. Okay, and I put these in the oven. Just going to scrape off some of this cheese that I don't want to burn to my thing. There we go. Alright, so I have 15 minutes set on my timer, and when I bring them out, I'm just going to let them sit for a little bit because they need that time to cool. Oh, sorry, Trish is sitting in the waiting room. Yeah, so I suggest just to let them cool for probably 5 minutes, and then you can lift them out of the tray and start to serve them up. But I want you to have a think about what sorts of ingredients you'd like to put in yours. You might like to make a range of them like I did today. But on the day that we do our practical, there'll probably be a range of different toppings that you're going to be able to put into your quiche bites. But to me, they're like a really healthy, low carb snack that you could. A lot of people like to have these if they're on a protein type diet because there's no real carbs in them. So they're quite healthy, and you can make a lot of them and you don't have to have a lot of ingredients to do it. So I'm going to upload this now onto YouTube, and I'm going to put a link there. If we get back to school, and I think it'll be the second week that we do prac, probably week 7 or 8, we'll be making this one. I reckon we could even do it in a single. It's that easy. It's the cooking that might take a little bit of time, but chopping up food is not hard, and mixing a bit of egg is not hard either. So we might think about doing that. I have sent in my plan for when we return. So we're hoping on having 5 or 6 pracs when we get back. We also are going to schedule in some sort of buffet party maybe towards week 10 as a final thing that we do for year 10 to celebrate the end of year and the end of food tech. So I want you to think about what we can do for that. Maybe give me some suggestions, and we might have a little bit of a party towards the end of term to celebrate getting back to school and you guys heading to year 11. Thank you to all those who put their assignments in. They should be all back with you. Please have a look at your marking schemes. Email me if you have any issues or questions. I'm happy to answer them. And Saturday, that's what I did, marked 20 assignments. But I was pretty impressed. I thought it was a bit of an easy assignment for year 10, but there were really good marks in the whole class. So I was really pleased with the effort you put in. Some of you went into Canva, some of you made websites. Like, I was pretty impressed. So most people, if you got the above 60s to 70s, that was really good, and I would have given you merits if you were in that area. So well done to everyone. Thank you for getting them in on time under difficult circumstances, but that's one assessment down, and I'm hoping not to have to do another one by the time we write reports. We might do some pracs and I'll mark those, but no more assignments, I don't think. All right, I'm going to get off my